Hey friends, how are you? I can't believe it, but here we are, wrapping up this winter session of confirmation, and we have come to the end of the New Testament. So this is our last class, the last book in the New Testament, the book of Revelation. If there's any book in the New Testament that gets talked about a lot, it's this one. There's all kinds of fantastic imagery in here, but before we get to the details, I want to set the scene for you. This book of Revelation, well, tradition has it that John, one of Jesus' beloved disciples, wrote this particular text. Now, there is some dispute about that, and here's why. It's kind of mysterious, actually. Written by John, but the John who is writing this particular book never mentions explicitly any kind of direct connection with the other disciples or direct connection with Jesus. So it's kind of weird that that wouldn't be mentioned. But nonetheless, this John who is writing the book of Revelation is an important figure. I also want to tell you that John has been exiled. That means he's been sent off to this tiny little island of Patmos. And he is out on this island, and it's there on the island of Patmos that he begins to have visions. And these visions are actually what's being captured here in the book of Revelation. I also want to share with you that these visions are then shared with seven different churches that John is connected with and wants to communicate with. You can read about those different churches and the challenges that they are facing in the first part of this book of Revelation. Really interesting stuff, so please do check that out. And then, yes, we also want to say that this book was written in that period when the Roman governmental authorities were insisting that they be worshiped as gods. Here's a friendly reminder, gang, we can't do that as Christians. We worship the one true God and don't bow down to any other idol in our lives. That's one of the bulwarks and foundations of our faith. So clearly, the early Christian community had great trouble with this. And so, as John is writing, as he's sharing what he is seeing in his visions, that's very much what is at work here. This notion that the one true God has been at work in the person of Jesus Christ, continues to be at work through the power of the Spirit, and more importantly, that deliverance and redemption and salvation and a new creation is in fact unfolding and will unfold in its completeness at some point in the future. And that's what's being captured in these visions. I get it. If you read through this, there is definitely some material that's disconcerting. You might even say a little bit frightening. There are these wondrous images of multi-headed beasts and so on and so forth. Listen, it's easy to get caught up in that. It's also easy to get caught up in saying, well, here's this particular beast means this, and this particular image means this. Listen, that's been going on for ages. Some of it just is, at the end of the day, bunk. It's somebody else's personal interpretation that never bears itself out. So the focus is, and I want you to focus on the focus of this text is that God is with us. That evil is in the process of being defeated once and for all, and that God's vision for the world is that God's goodness and peace be manifest in this place and in the new kingdom to come, so that we can all be blessed by God's grace and the promise that salvation has come and is coming in God's Son, Jesus Christ. And in this God, the three-in-one that we worship with all of our hearts and our souls and our strength, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, actively, friends, actively working to defeat evil in the world. And that's the vision that we have for God's work among us. So don't get caught up in all those details. The fact of the matter is we have been redeemed, and all of creation, all of the cosmos is in the process of being restored. Listen, it's been a delight to be with you through these series of videos. We've looked at so many different books, and that's where I want to kind of take us this week as we wrap things up. First of all, I will say, in terms of the challenge, if you have any questions about Revelation, because there's lots to consider here, don't hesitate to email me. You all have the email address. Reach out, touch base. We'll have a good conversation about what some of this stuff really is all about. But here's the other part of the challenge for this week. I want you, now that we've covered all of these different books, I want you to sit back for a minute, think through some of the conversations that we have shared, and then let me know what your favorite book in the New Testament happens to be. Thank you so much for your time, your attention, and your energy. It's always a joy to be with you. We'll see you tonight, because this is the last Sunday of the month. We all get together this evening, so hopefully we will see you tonight for a little confirmation time and a little youth time as well. So we're going to have some fun. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Say your prayers. Love your neighbors, and we will see you soon.